I want to draw a distinction very early on between passive and active footprinting. Passive footprinting means there's no direct touch to the target. It's information that you gather from other sources, not the target itself. So going to a company's website would be a direct touch. That wouldn't be passive. That would be an active footprinting technique. But going to Google and looking at cached pages, or going to Yahoo and looking at some information around the company's profile and structure, those are things that are passive. They are not direct touch. That's the delineation that the ethical hacking approach really is clear on. Passive footprinting, no touch. Active footprinting, touch. There are some portions of this footprinting that are going to cross over between the two. And I'll make sure to draw those distinctions as we go through each of the types of techniques and the types of data that you gather. In many cases, information can be gathered in a combination of passive and active touch. For example, finding out a company's locations if they have branches and main offices. You may want to use the company's website itself to look up the branch listing, or you may want to use something like Google to look up the company's branches. And a combination of those is probably suitable, certainly starting with the passive. Almost always you're going to want to start with passive footprinting though. The biggest benefits really of passive footprinting are that it's nearly impossible to alert the target of the footprinting technique. So if you're querying on the company's website for information about the company, certainly it may be publicly available information, but that direct touch theoretically could start setting off alarms, could actually send alerts and so forth. Not touching the company directly, far less likely to actually set off alerts and leave any kind of footprints. Further examples in this distinction of passive versus active footprinting are that active footprinting techniques directly touch things like websites. So web servers, banner grabbing web servers, banner grabbing FTP servers, and so forth. Those are the types of active footprinting. They're still not attacks. They're still not penetration, but they're gathering information in a more direct fashion. So pinging a site, trace routing a site, actually grabbing all of the information from a site in a technique called mirroring, where you're downloading every bit of data you possibly can find from a website. It may not be a security violation, but it is certainly an active attack or an active footprinting technique. Active footprinting typically comes after passive footprinting. So normally what you do is you actually do a passive footprinting approach, get as much information as possible, and then based on the information from the passive footprint, use that to begin an active footprint process.